as you can see, I've added a bunch of buildings. What I want to share with you is how to do buildings that end above your paper. So even if you're building, you might need a scrap piece of paper for this. If you can still add buildings up above, because you'll see, notice this one goes way up above my paper here, where it goes off my paper. I started doing one over here, so I want to share with you how to go ahead and finish that. So obviously I have a big piece of paper underneath this paper so that you can kind of see what's happening, but I'm going to go ahead and I would have put a scrap piece of paper here, and I might put a dot, kind of like where the top of my building is going to end. And then I'm going to use my ruler, and that one's not long enough, so I will use this one. I'm going to line up the top of my building off of a scrap piece of paper, and I'm going to just kind of bring it down here, and I can let it go to wherever this is. And then the same thing here. I'm lining up, this one I could actually use because it's short enough and you can see it. So I'm going to line up my 2 vanishing points. I'm going to bring this down, and so now you can see this is a building, but this is a really massive building, and usually as the further away your buildings get, the smaller they get. So I'm going to line up my ruler with the top edge of my paper, and I might decide that this building is going to end here and erase this. And then this building, again, if I line my ruler up, and actually that might be too big. I think that's a little too big, so I'm actually going to bring it in a little bit more. I think this building should be smaller, skinnier, I guess, if you will. And again, notice I'm not ending my building right on the same corner. I'm going to end it in a slightly different place. Now I could have ended it back here, but I guess I'm choosing to make it thinner. And then I could always go in and I could always add another building. That might come in and do something like this. Here's my other building. So this would come in here, and maybe it ends here. So you can still stack buildings behind one another, and I know I have a white piece of paper here, which is making this a little bit difficult to see, but you can see that you can still stack buildings behind buildings. And then this actually shouldn't be here. This is air right in here. So this is a building, this is a building, and then in here, this would be the sky. Okay, so let's add a door and some windows. So again, with a door, if you're adding a door on this side of the vanishing, on this side of your building, on the right side of your building, you're going to be using the right vanishing point. If you're adding windows or doors on the left-hand side of your building, you will be using the left vanishing point. That, in a combination of vertical lines, straight vertical lines, will get you a door and windows. So we're going to put a door on this side. And actually, I think we're going to put windows on this side. Let's put a door on this side. So I'm going to add a door right here. So I'm going to start with a straight vertical line as to where my door might be. Right there. And then I'm going to bring the top of my line. Now the bottom of my door is already going back to my vanishing point. My door wants to end at the bottom of the building because that's usually steps out. The top of the line, I'm going to bring this back as far as I want my door to go. So maybe this is a double door. And then I'm going to do another vertical line to end. Now this is a pretty wide doorway. Maybe this is a building that you can drive through. But then again, I don't have a road or any type of way of getting a car in there. Or maybe you walk through the building, but I'm going to do double doors. So I'm going to put something here, and then I can add, maybe I add some little handles. Now notice when I'm adding the handles, I am lining it up with the vanishing point, and I have that horizon, that little line that's diagonal, that's making sure it's going the right way. So I have the doors. For windows, so that's my door. My windows, if I were doing windows, I'm going to again start with a straight vertical line. I'm going to do a line here. This is how decide how tall you would like your windows to be. Then I'm going to do a guideline. So, and I don't have to make that guideline past my building because I'm only going to have windows on my building. My windows aren't going to go past this point. Now I decide how wide I want my building, my windows to be. Do I want skinny windows? So if I want skinny windows, I might line up my ruler with the bottom edge of my paper again, and I'm going to draw. So this becomes one window. Figure out the spacing in between the windows. Another vertical line. Move it down, making sure I'm keeping my ruler vertical. That's really important. There's a lot of times where people tend to make, their ruler shifts and then they end up with windows that look like they're like falling over, that the building has not been put together properly. So straight vertical lines. Try and keep your spaces. And remember, as your windows go back, they might get a little bit smaller. And I might have goofed a little bit on these windows, but that's how you do windows. And when you're first starting out, I'm not too concerned about making sure your windows get smaller necessarily. I mean, they should, but just understanding the idea of making everything go back to the vanishing point since you're just starting, you're beginners. So there's windows. Now, if you did a door in windows on this side, you would do the exact same thing that I just did, only you would use this vanishing point going back in this direction. So I'm going to go ahead and add some windows, and then I'm going to show you another type of window here.